Hey everyone, Tin Man here, back with Mythic Huntsman Altimor in Castle Nathria, playing on my Fire Mage. My guild took a few weeks off for the holiday, so this is our first week inside Mythic Castle Nathria, and this is our first kill of Huntsman, so let's break down how it went. First, we start off loosely spread around the boss, staying close to melee for AoE heals and using all of our CBs right away. While doing my combustion rotation, I always do try to be moving a little bit or jumping, just to make sure I don't accidentally start hard casting a spell, because everything inside of combustion should be instant cast. And we're also not using Bloodlust or potions at this point. Our guild decides to save potions for Phase 2 and Bloodlust for Phase 3. For the Sinseeker mechanic, we have 3 marks set up right next to each other, and everyone who's targeted will be assigned a mark to get to, because unlike on Heroic, you do need additional people inside the Sinseekers to soak the damage, which is split between everyone hit. In the first phase, we just have most of the range players soak, no real assignments, but in Phase 2 and 3, we're going to have specific people with immunities dedicated to covering each Sinseeker. The Sinseeker also leaves a dot on me, so I don't want to help soak the Margor's Leap ability right here, because I'm already taking damage. Even though it's right next to me, I'm not going to jump in, because there's already enough people in that circle. If there wasn't enough people nearby, I could have jumped in, but I would probably have needed to use a defensive or health stone or health potion to keep myself alive in that case. I moved to the other side of the boss here using the mobility from Scorch because I'm not assigned to the next Sinseeker and I want to be out of the way of it while I can freely move and cast while the dog here is in execute range. I'm also holding off on combustion for a few seconds here, waiting until Phase 2 when we're going to use our combat potions, and once he transitions into Phase 2, I pop the potions and start blasting combust. There's not a lot of time in this phase when both the boss and his pet are right next to each other because of the mechanics that require the tank to pull him away. I am assigned to Polymorph, one of the shades of Barghast that'll spawn here, the one with Moon Marker, which is going to be on the opposite side of the room for me. Luckily, mages have one of the best personal utility spells in the game, Alter Time, which will return me right back to my previous location. So before I blink over there, I use Alter Time, and I can quickly get right back into position after using the Polymorph. For the next Sinseeker, we have our 2 hunters stand on the green marker off on the right and use Aspect of the Turtle, their immunity, to help soak all 3 Sinseekers. For everyone else, though, this is a bit of a lull, and I can just sit here and DPS with no worries. I'm once again going to be delaying my combustion for a few seconds here because I want to use it when we have to kill the Shades of Barghast, although I probably use one too many Fire Blasts before that combustion. Ideally, I'd like to have 2.5 charges going into it. While the best way to get optimal boss damage and parse higher is to just use Combust as soon as it's available, I think that this way is a little bit safer as I'll have a lot more burst on the adds, and one of the easiest way to wipe on this boss is to let one of their casts go off. So I figured that especially for this first kill, I would just take the safer route, sacrifice some boss DPS to make sure that those shades die really quickly and there's no chance of letting them get a cast off. As we clean up those shades, we are going to get another set of them here. Our DPS is just not quite enough to skip that set. I probably could have used the same Alter Time trick as before, but I didn't do it partially because I wanted to save it for next phase when the damage is going to be a bit more intense, and partially because I can freely move while DPSing using Scorch while Barghast is in execute range, so the mobility is not that much of an issue here. The next Sinseeker is supposed to be soaked by our Paladin using his bubble plus a Blessing of Protection on our Death Knight, but it seems like something was missed here as our Warlock, who was targeted by Sinseeker, dies from it, and our Rogue even popped Cheat Death. And so we only had a few pulls on the boss before this, so we're still trying to perfect the positioning and get all 3 of them in that, people in the Sinseeker is turning out to be a little bit of a struggle. As Phase 3 starts, we use Bloodlust and stack up as close to melee as possible for the AoE heals and Spirit Links. We grip in both the Shades of Barghast, and my combustion is still a few seconds away from coming back up, but as soon as it does, I can just shred those shades who take bonus damage at this point. Since Huntsman is now below 30%, I can do my full DPS while moving thanks to the Searing Touch talent, which is convenient as I get targeted by the brown circle here and can easily drop it off on the side of the room while maintaining full DPS. Just to be safe, though, I use Molten Barrier to cushion my life total. Luckily, no other damage is going out at the time, so I don't need to use a health stone or health potion. For the next Sinseeker, I'm assigned to use Ice Block on the green marker to cover all 3 soaks. I quickly get to green and use Ice Block ASAP because my Endurance Conduit will heal me up while I'm in Ice Block, which prevents a ghost from spawning. Unfortunately, right after I block, the player's targeted move a little bit, leading to one of our druids dying because I was not in his line to help soak. Like I said, we're still getting used to the positioning and getting that correct, so it's definitely way harder as a mage where my immunity roots me in place. If I didn't ice block so early, maybe I could have adjusted to their movement like our other mage did, but I wanted the extra heal from my conduit just to make sure I was topped up. At this point, though, the fight is pretty much over. We finish off the last pet and then just burn down the last few boss percentage. We do get one more Sin Seeker, which the Hunters will help soak again, and my Combustion comes up just as the boss is dying, which means I would have done a lot more boss damage if he had stayed up just a few more seconds, or if I had not delayed the Combustion earlier in the fight, but I obviously used it on those ads because I thought that was more important, especially for a first kill. I really enjoyed this fight, and I look forward to continuing on in Castle Nathria on Mythic. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.